Is it now?
It could be now. It could be now. It could be now.
This person has been like influential to me. There it is. Green as I promised. Green as I promised. The person has been influential to me. Influential. I've learned stuff. He's been my cheerleader.
Wonderful.
When I was down, he would send me personal messages. Snap out of it. You're fine.
Get on up.
I used to go, why can't I be a rock star? He goes, you can be. Just get to it. Let's go. You already are one. Let's go.
Yes.
This writer, composer, arranger, producer, I could just keep going on and on and on and on. So many stories this gentleman has. Yes. It's unbelievable the amount of things that he's seen, done.
Well, let's get to it. I want to know.
The amazing, the influential, the ostentatious, the all-encompassing JME Strchild. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm very honored.
You have just now bested Questlove as I feel like I get a Questlove intro.
Nice. I love Questlove.
Yes. Who doesn't? Loving the name. It's loving the name.
So, Jamie.
Yes.
Where do we start? I mean, there are so many places I can start. I I have notes. But,
okay.
They're not enough.
Can I ask a star question?
Yes.
How long have you? Because I've heard so much.
How long has this been going on?
How long has this been going on?
Well, since you said I've seen so much and I've done so much, it's like, okay, you've now officially aged me, so I can't hide behind the Dorian Gray happening here. So, I have been pretty much grew up in the music industry.
Okay.
My entire life. I'm now 50, soon to be 52. I was born into the music industry in 1973, the same year as hip hop.
First of all,
hip hop and I are the same. I'm a few months older than hip hop.
Everybody's talking about what stars they're born on the same day as, but I like that.
Look at this guy. 52.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was almost gonna call bullshit, but it's okay. I get it.
Don't let the face fool you.
No.
The back is saying something different. But yeah, I have been involved in my entire life as far as the pursuit of a professional or semi-professional career. It's been about 30 years of being in Connecticut, being in the New England area, being in the Northeast, and just doing a lot of different stuff. I've been around, as you said.
Yes.
I've been around trying to hone my craft and learn as much as I can and trying to pivot and be good at as many things as I could be.
Let me tell you, I think you succeeded. You've got so many good things.
I haven't gotten there yet, so I'm still working on it.
Just as a professional note, Jamie actually wrote one of the Adventures of Thaddeus Black's songs that got so many hits on Spotify. We've been. I don't know if I thanked you enough for that, but thank you.
Thank you for performing it. Is
it true that Jamie had something to do with the naming of that?
It is absolutely true that Jamie had something to do with the naming.
I'll take the blame for that.
No, take the credit. It's all good. It's all
good.
Well,
it's all your fault that everyone calls him Thaddeus.
Yes.
You are Thaddeus Black. Yo, you got to get him to do the photo shoot.
Oh my goodness!
I'm telling you, you are Thaddeus Black. Yes.
Oh my God.
Well, it's like it's like Blondie. Debbie Harry's name isn't Blondie, but everyone thinks her name is Blondie.
Right.
What's the other group? Hootie and the Blowfish.
Hootie, yeah.
Everyone thinks Dare Drucker's Hootie. You're Thaddeus Black. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's your adventure.
Oh my God. But you.
That's so funny.
I mean, there's so many things that we could talk about, and not just on your professional career, but just like you said, you've grown up in music. Just so the people out there understand, and just so I don't know how much Hot Rod you know already, just so everybody understands, give just a snippet of who. I want you to name drop a little bit. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm only name dropping to give a shell to the story and not the braggy,
Of course.
So I try and I've seen a lot. Anyway, so I was born in 1973. My father is a musician named Skip McDonald. He, along with my godfather Doug Wimbish and my other godfather Keith LeBlanc, were the house band of Sugar Hill Records.
Okay.
So they played on pretty much everything after Rapper's Delight. So songs like The Message, songs like White Lines, Apache, Eighth Wonder, Sequence, Funk You Up, that was interpolated in Bruno Mars' Uptown Funk.
I love that.
They played on all that stuff. And then after they did that, they became first call session musicians in New York. So I spent a lot of time on bus rides and truck rides and van rides and car rides down the Merritt, going to Englewood, New Jersey, witnessing this as a kid. And they would always throw me like a drum machine and a synthesizer because I always showed an interest. Like I was the kid who would like grab the cowbell and want to jump on stage with the adults and would get kicked off. Or we're going to take that take again because Jamie was singing in the background.
Yeah.
You know, like why'd you put him in the booth? But they always kind of foster that.
That answers my next question was the whole question of nature versus nurture. You know, like my son is whether I was in music or not, he was doing it. You know what I mean? And that's what I was going to ask you if you felt that there was any kind of give and pull because of that.
Oh, definitely. Well, access is everything. When you're a young kid and you're interested in something, someone gives you access to the thing that you like, then you're going to like it that much more. You know, it's like, okay, I can actually do this. But seeing them do it and seeing the reality of it was another huge thing I'm very thankful for now.
Yeah. Right.
Because, you know, when you don't have it in your life and you're like, oh, one day I'm going to be, you know, it's very easy to idolize it. But I got to see the real, but I was still interested in it. It's like they come home from the road and they'd be just, I have to crash. That was their favorite thing to say. Man, I'm tired. I got to crash. And so as a kid, like we learned those names and those words and everything. So, but we got to see the reality of it, but I was still very enamored with the process.
Right.
My thing is about the process of being in the music industry. It's not for the glamour. It's not for the ego. It's not for the name dropping. It's all about I love the process. For me, it's like a palette and being an artist.
I think
you know,
that
like painting.
I think that kind of like lays down the things that we're saying a lot about what being a full-time musician really means, because it isn't always the guts and glamour, and it's the love and the drive and performing and doing.
And it's changed. I've witnessed it change. You know, every 10 years of my life, the music industry has changed. It's changing every year now.
Oh yeah,
it's ridiculous
it's
how
not a decade
quickly
thing
it's changing. You know,
I mean,
from watching my dad go to be in, you know, covering wedding bands, to being in a touring band, to being in a Sugar Hill band, to being a session guy, to being, you know, doing his own thing with Little Axe in London, England, and Doug and Keith as well. You know, watching their evolution helped my evolution and helped me. I always like to say, help me learn certain lessons and avoid certain things, but I still had to go through some things.
Yes.
And I still do, you know, and I still do. And I'm still very realistic about the work that I have to put in, you know, without being, you know, lazy about it. Be like, oh,
and that's
I don't ever want to be a nepo baby.
That's the next question I'm going to ask.
Yes.
Like, because you have the connects.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. You have connections that 99% of the people who are doing what we do out there don't have.
Yeah.
How beneficial was that for you in your career? Like
it isn't beneficial if you aren't good at what you do.
That's a
it
good
doesn't
point.
matter. I've always wanted to have the power of my own wings.
Okay.
And the power of being able to say, oh, okay, if they didn't exist, if tomorrow it was like It's a Wonderful Life and I had to do it again without those influences and stuff, I would want to be able to stand on my own.
Right.
I want to be able to be known for what I do. And thankfully, because I did that and I never leaned on that and never wanted that to open the door, it's allowed me to create my own voice, but I still have the influences of all those other things.
Right.
So I try my best to kind of be my own person, but yet at the same time, connect to it, bridge to it.
Right.
Because I can't ignore it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It definitely, when you hear the music, you're going to hear those influences in there.
Absolutely.
But
That's
I've
the
never.
best answer to when you ask people that question, who's influenced you?
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
he
no,
is literally
Yeah.
influenced by.
Oh, I'm the living result of everything they've worked
amazing.
on, which doesn't feel like pressure. It just feels, well, in a way it
It's
does.
got to be a little bit.
It kind of does, because then it gives me that high bar.
Yes.
Like whenever I created something, I'm like, if those three gentlemen don't like it, it's not good enough.
Right, exactly.
And so having that bar very young, again, avoided a lot of heartache and a lot of pitfalls that a lot of people fall for, but at the same time kept that high work ethic for me. Like
Yeah, I can appreciate
I heard
that.
stories of them being in the studio for 48 hours without sleep and getting 7 records done in that 4 days because they had a tight budget. So they were like, oh, we got $4,000, we got 4 days, we're going to record with 7 different bands, and bam, 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 bam. And so that work ethic definitely led me to want to just work really hard and make sure it sounds really good.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And not just to the point of pleasing me, but just at the point where it's a living, breathing thing. You know, that song or that project is living and breathing, and if it's not, then I'll keep working on it, and
Right
I
on.
won't put it out into the world until it feels like it's existing.
Now, that's one thing I've talked about with other groups, other bands, other solo artists. The music itself. You just said like you work on it till it's done, or
Yeah.
you hold on to it. Is there a point where you've held on it too long?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
I'm
'cause,
very,
like-
I'm very guilty of that.
Yes, because I know
being
that I
Being a super
personally
perfectionist? Oh,
Yes.
absolutely. But the thing I've learned to do is to be objective. It's not, do I sound good on this? It's, does this work as a song?
Okay,
Ooh.
all right.
I'm gonna borrow that.
But at the same time, I do my scales, I do my exercises, I do everything. I make sure that my technique is right, and I make sure that I'm doing all the stuff that mixing engineers do and musicians do and everything. But ultimately, it doesn't boil into, does this please me? Does it work? Does it make sense? Is it functional as a song?
Okay.
You know, is it functional as a project? And that is what leads me to be so discerning.
I need some of that,
Yeah.
that internal
Yeah.
discipline.
So that brings me to yet another. See, he's got too much for me, too much. It brings me yet another question. So obviously, I personally know that you've created music and you do your own thing. I also know that you've produced and helped other artists.
Yeah.
Which do you prefer, Armand? Nice to meet you.
Thank you, darling.
Do you prefer to produce? Do you prefer your own
Well,
creation?
when I produce myself, I produce it like it's another person. That's the
Okay.
objectivity.
Okay.
Of first you create it, then you walk away from it, and you come back to it, and you put on a different set of glasses.
I do
and you
that.
go, you know, and you become this objective. I'm like, okay, does this work? I don't have a preference for one. I guess it just depends on the mood, because the process to me is the same. But it's easier when it's just you. Like what I'm about to perform now, I played everything on.
Right.
So it's really easy.
Okay,
to go,
Prince.
That's not the first time I've heard that one.
Yes.
But it's a great comparison.
Yeah.
I felt that feeling you just said when you were just, doing some of your sound checking earlier. One of our guests was like, what kind of music? And just stared at you as if Prince just did walk in the room.
Right.
Definitely big
It's not just as much as, you could hear everything that you're asking in the sound. Like
Yes.
it speaks for itself for
And
sure.
it's there. It lives and it breathes.
Yeah, you
Definitely.
do
I
great.
can't hide. I'm not trying to hide it.
No.
But yet, at the same time, I have so many influences that it feels like me. Like the voice, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But back to your original point of, I don't really have a preference. It just depends on the project.
Okay.
You know? I like working with other people. I love collaborating. I love the palette of different voices and sounds, and in my Rick Rubin-esque, hoping to be a better producer of, again, understanding what's important for the song.
Right.
And not that musicians, we all have fragile egos. We really do. We really do. But it's really about, okay, what makes this work?
Right.
And so I guess I really don't have a preference.
Okay.
I
So-
just like making music.
So and I know that
and making new music too.
Yeah, and I know that for a fact because Jamie has, like I said, has been pivotal helping me out with a lot of different things. On his own spare time, he sent
What's
me.
that?
Yeah, exactly. This man sent me
I hear that.
a working skate, like how to warm up, just like a whole. Because I asked him, like, "Hey, Jamie, what'd you think of this?" And he goes, "Oh, it's good, and here's what I would recommend going forward, try this. And he gave me a whole, basically a lesson plan on how to warm up and get my voice to where it was supposed to be. Because I was saying I was having problems with my voice. And he was like, I didn't ask him to do this. He's like, he just sent it. And it was like, that is something that I don't think enough musicians or mentors do. We don't have enough mentors out there anymore.
Well, like you said before, and you said something about community earlier, and I love that you guys do this. Thank you for having me on.
Of course.
Thank you for wanting to connect people and make original music, and thank you for wanting to have that spirit. And we need more of it. Definitely, we need more connection. Doug Wimbish did tell me a story once about. I think he was younger, and he was like, the bass ace, and he wanted to get some information from one of the older cats, and he was like, "No, I'm not telling you my secrets." Blah blah blah. And he's made it his mission, and to make sure that the next generation gets all that same knowledge. That there's nothing that I know that you can't know, because there's people who have helped him along the way as well. Where they're like, "Come in,
right? You
can have this knowledge too. You can be part of this community, lifting people up, not competing with them. But it's a friendly competition. Don't get me wrong. It's not Moore's Day and Prince. It's although those two did collaborate, but it's really about helping people out, lifting each other up, building a scene, challenging each other to make it better.
Yes,
and that to me is worth its weight in gold. It really is. And I'm thankful that Doug gave me that lesson, and my dad gave me that lesson of, and Victor Wooten too. Like I'm a huge, I read his book, and he's all about bringing people in. And even if you're a 6-year-old kid that can't play, you can play with the older cats.
Exactly.
Sure, you might hit one note, but that's how you learn. That's how you connect. That's how you grow. And if you stay in your little silos of music and competition, you're never going to get any better than what you're already hearing in that silo.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So, like, the path that you're on now, I mean, obviously, I've heard where you started from, almost. I remember the first time I saw you as JME Strchild was you were opening for Living Color, and I can't remember. It was a small little place. I don't know if you remember. It's here in Connecticut. It was like a small little theater in Connecticut.
Fairfield Theater Company?
It might have been there.
Were you at Fairfield Theater Company?
I was indeed. I think that was the first time I heard you as JME Strchild. And you had opened up for them, and I was sitting right behind the drums. I was right behind Will Calhoun, and I remember you coming down the little aisle and everything, doing your thing. And I went, "Wow, this guy."
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
I have a question for you. Because if it was Fairfield Theater Company, do you remember the heckler?
Yes. Oh my God.
Okay, you were there. You were there. Okay, I'm not going to tell that story.
No.
But there was a
That
heckler.
that was the place.
But
I had a heckler.
I mean, Jamie came out. The heckler went up, but he ignored. He just did his thing, and I could hear where he was trying to go. That was the important thing.
I appreciate that.
I listen. Obviously, no offense. I was there to see Living Color, but
Yes.
but like I'm like, as soon as you came out, I'm like, oh, I know that guy. Like I didn't realize he was blah blah blah, and like he's playing this stuff. I go, I see where he's trying to go, and I've seen where you were, what you went through after that, and where you are now. Like, how do you forge that type of path? Like, what's the vision for your path? Where are you trying to end up?
Just growth.
Okay.
I don't have an end game of I want to end up here. It's really, for me personally, is growth. That's it. Can I do it better than I did it the last time?
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody asked Stevie Wonder once what was his favorite song, and he said, I haven't written it yet.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
And I kind of think that way. It's kind of hard sometimes because it's just like, then what goal do you have? You know, what's your goal? My goal is just to write really good songs and hopefully have an audience.
And I can honestly say that you've done some of that already. Like I can personally attest that you've written some good songs.
But for me, it's like, and again, talking about the industry changing, it's really difficult for me being a songwriter and liking albums and liking something that's new and really striving for things that feel new. That it's hard for me to balance the way you have to promote music now.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Versus the creative process, the guy who owns Spotify. It's like, oh, it's just about content. I'm like, well, we don't have all the time in the world to put out a song a day. You know, we don't. It's the creative process. You wouldn't ask that of artists.
Yeah, we
you know?
we could 100% put out a song a day,
Oh,
but
we
it's going to be a good song.
But it's not going to be good.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying there's not good. Well, there is some not good stuff out there that's just churned out, but quality goes down, I think, if you're thinking that way. So for me, I just want to create stuff that feels good. That's my goal.
So don't want to stop.
Right. Don't
Oh,
stop.
no.
Can't stop. Don't stop.
stop.
Can't
There's
stop.
some moments, I've had some moments where I'm like, God, this can be so hard.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll just, I'll just pat. But something just keeps bringing me back, and I listen to songs that inspire me, and thankfully I'll go to Spotify and listen to some new stuff, and go back and listen to old stuff, and have this really crazy playlist from the last 50 years, and wonder where it's going next.
Right. Now, I know I've been getting the signal.
Yeah, we are getting them all over
there's
the world.
There's still a few more things I need to like. What else do you like? Obviously, we know you write, we compose. Are you actually a music teacher as well?
Yes. I do teach music. I'm a middle school teacher as well.
Nice.
I do some private music production lessons for people who want them. I have another page called Mixed by Soundchild that does that, actually. So if you want to know how to use your Pro Tools or your Reason or your Cubase or plug in your drum machine, or I need help with this, or I don't know the structure of a song and stuff like that, I've done that for a lot of people as well.
Is
and
a website you have for that?
Yeah, I do have a website, mixedbysoundchild.com. It's my wife gave my wife gave me that moniker. Nice. Soundchild, Strchild, Soundchild. Yeah. But that's another part, and I've done everything from audio cleanup to mixing for other people. I've mixed a few things. I did some audio editing work for Living Color on the Shade album. I've worked on a lot of different stuff. Yeah, I've done a lot of different stuff.
I feel like I got to put you in my Rolodex at my studio. And I was like, if I'm going to jump.
That's what I do. Again, it's all, my life is all about, I'm very fortunate that everything in my life has to do with making music.
I can appreciate
Whether it be teaching, mixing, engineering, live sound, background vocals, my own stuff, it's all music all the time. And every time I get frustrated, I have to slap myself and say, stop.
Yeah.
Just because you're looking at the industry the way it is, and it has changed, and you have to accept the fact that it's not the way that it was or the way it was for your dad, but to be able to exist in it and find new ways to cultivate that feeling and exist and create.
I need to call you on a daily basis because I literally...
Yeah, I need to be reminded of that.
You're not the only one. There are many of us. And some people won't admit it. Some people will be like, I'm fine doing this other thing. But a lot of us feel that. I think a lot of us feel that way.
Yes.
So I got a question off topic, or maybe not so off topic.
Go ahead.
Tell me about the Daisy Rick bass in the studio.
Oh, the Daisy Rock bass.
The Daisy Rock bass, sorry, in the studio.
Oh my God. We were at a rehearsal. This is now going on 20 years ago. I had a band with Chuck Peterson, and shout out to Breck McNabb and Rob Jekyll. And we were, trying to forge our way, playing the stuff that I wrote into a band. And we were at a rehearsal one day, at a rehearsal space, and there was a mini, I want to say it was a Butterfly Daisy Rock bass, a kid-size Daisy Rock bass. And the bass player decides that he's going to play our entire set with this little mini Daisy, and it was the funniest thing. It was the funniest moment where she's like, we dare you to play these rock songs on this little tiny, and he did. And he did it. It was hilarious.
Right. And it sounded great?
I'm not sure if it sounded great because it is a kid's bass and the scale is all off, and here's an adult looking like Paul Bunyan playing on a little bass. But it was funny. Nice. And it was a great memory, you know? It's still a great memory. It is a great memory.
So, we're going to get you on stage pretty soon. Like, where else are you? Like, we didn't talk about, like, we have so much stuff.
Well, I definitely want to bring up next weekend. So if that's what you're getting at.
Yep. It's like, where are you playing when's your next big performance?
My next big performance is right there on this stage in a couple minutes.
Yes.
That is the best answer.
And we're going to be working on another live stream performance. I want to shout out Rachel Tanucci. Hi, I hope you're watching. And Mark Mansick, who are in the full band, JME Strchild and Dream Factory.
Nice.
Shout out to Nate Fountain as well. He's our long distance member.
Nice.
And we're working on a live stream. We're probably going to be doing sometime in January. And we have some other stuff that we'll be plugging soon.
Right.
I'm in the midst. Someone asked me earlier if I was going to be doing another album, and I'm like, I'm always thinking about it.
Nice.
But what does it look like, and do the songs make sense together? Just to kind of keep moving forward. Another side plug. We talk about the original music and new music and everything. I do have a band that does solely the Prince catalog.
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
Called Purple Luscious Love. We'll be coming back. We're working on some stuff right now.
You gotta let me know.
Yes,
our
I'll
brother
let you know about
Lawrence,
that. That's a fun time. We're not just Purple Rain. There's no costumes. It's a lot of fun.
Our brother Lawrence,
So-
V. White is in that.
Yes.
Man,
wonderful.
Shout out to Lawrence. Shout out to Lawrence
Lawrence,
B. White.
Wait,
Definitely.
he does more that I don't know.
Lawrence
Yes.
is the man. I
Yes.
can tell you that.
But yeah, we do have that project as well, and that'll be coming back. We like to surprise people when we play.
Yes.
It's a great time. It's a full show. It's 3.5 hours. It is
I'm
everything
ready
you
for
want
that.
in a Prince concert.
I think the last one I saw was at Black Eyed Sally's.
Yes,
So-
that was last year, and we do a yearly show there.
I've gotta
Thanks
see
to
it.
Jason at Strange Brew in Norwich.
Yep.
Thanks to Anthony at Music Back Then in West Haven. We've done there as well, and we're looking for other places to be able to bring that.
We're
and I'm
definitely
looking,
going to do that
you know,
here. We're definitely-
I'm looking
and
for
we
places
gotta-
to have both projects.
Yes,
you know,
hold
to have
it.
Jamie Strchild and the Dream Factory and Purple Luscious Love,
Yeah.
and whether it be the solo thing or whether it be the full band or whatever else. It's really just like you guys said about connecting music
Yes.
and getting it out there. Because I know people like live music. I know people like music, but let's make a movement to not make it the background of people's lives.
I agree with that 100%. I have a question for you.
Again, there is a place for it.
Yes.
I don't want to step on anyone's toes. There's a place for it. But if we can exist in a space where both can exist and the audiences can get used to it and the venues, and then we will all grow as a result of it.
I mean,
agree.
it used to be like that. It didn't used to be the
Yes.
background.
But we have so many options now.
Yes.
You know? Thankfully, hopefully people are watching this, and
Yes.
that's a great option. Being able to watch stuff and be able to YouTube it again and be able to we exist in everything now. There's no trends. There's no every fashion style is in. Every style of music is in. You can have so many different experiences, but we need to encourage people to have as many of those experiences as possible.
yes.
Indeed.
That's how I feel about things now.
Nice, nice.
Speaking of which,
Yes.
with your crazy schedule like ours, would there or could there possibly be a workshop at the studio in your future for the
I
kids?
would absolutely do a workshop at your studio.
Wonderful.
Let's book it.
I would love that.
to do that.
Yes. I got lots of things I want to throw at you later.
Okay, that sounds right up my
I've been doing my homework before this interview, and I was
Yeah.
like, I'm going to try so hard not to attack him when he comes in the door.
And let me tell you, the homework you've done, we've probably only
Touched
gotten
the
the
nip of
tip
it.
of the iceberg. I mean, you are such a multifaceted, interesting individual. I am honored to call you one of my friends.
Thank you. Thank
There's not enough good things I can say about you, man.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I appreciate everything you do.
Thank you.
Um,
We have one more plug
One more plug.
because we're both going to be there.
Oh,
So-
I'm gonna be
yes.
there, I'm gonna be
Speaking
there.
of the Sugar Hill guys, and rest in peace to Keith LeBlanc. We
Yes.
miss you dearly.
Yes.
Next week, there's actually a benefit for Keith LeBlanc, the drummer from Sugar Hill, who played on all those wonderful hip hop songs that you love, like Apache. They're doing a benefit in Hartford at Black Eyed Sally's next week. Doug Wimbish's Wimbash, which
The
has been
Wimbash.
going 20 years strong.
Yes.
And there are going to be a lot of great acts up there. MJT Band, Dave Coltai Band, Doug Wimbish, a couple of special guests in the house.
Yes.
And The Adventures of Thaddeus Black is making their,
Debut.
well, this lineup's
This
debut.
lineup debut,
Yeah.
yes.
This lineup's debut is playing next Friday for the Wimbash, Hartford, Black Eyed Sally's.
Yeah,
So I'll be there. I'll be jamming out some of my dad's stuff, and you'll be there.
I'll be there.
And I think you're going to
I'll
be
be there. You can
and
count on
everybody
it.
come out. Please come out and support.
Big
It's also
collaboration.
a fundraiser for Hartford firefighters. So they
Wonderful.
raise a lot of money for the firefighters and the families. So please support that as well.
Absolutely.
Now, it's an earlier, the doors are at 6,
Yes,
right?
the doors
So we
are
wanna
at
make
6.
sure
I think
we
the show
miss
starts
that.
at 7.
Yes.
But please come out. It's a great time. We're packed like sardines, but we have a blast.
Now, before you send him on his way to that stage, as eager as I am, I need you to tell me the Blue Oyster Cult story.
Okay. All right. We got a Blue Oyster Cult story. Last story, and then I will play some music. So. Oh, they're having a good time over there. All right, it's a good time.
Having a party.
Everybody's
Everybody's swinging.
Okay. So,
because
again,
I've been to a Blue Oyster Cult show, and it seems to be what everyone I talk to, it's always a story, and then I hear you have one as well.
Oh, but there's so many stories. Okay. So, and he'll forgive me later. Because I'm going to throw him under the bus for a second. So, shout out to my friend Kyle Smith. He actually was managing the band for a little bit, did a great job getting us to be able to open for Blue Oyster Cult at Tuxedo Junction when that was open. Great room.
Yes.
So we get the call for the gig. It's in November. It's cold. And what was I saying? So we go to do the gig. And my brother, Mr. Chuck, Mr. Peterson, brought one pair of sticks. Okay? Mind you, I brought one guitar. Bass player brought one bass. Other guitar player brought one guitar. So, makes sense, right? So, he accidentally broke his stick in my car.
Oh,
I had
gosh.
this little putt station wagon with all my gear in it. My amp, my guitar, and Chuck. And so we're driving down to Danbury. We get out of the car. He looks down, and I think he played on like 7As or something like that. Like a thin, like a jazz stick. Because he has a light touch. Jazz stick. So does Questlove, by the way. He plays on 7As. So he breaks the stick. I'm like, oh, let's just go to East Coast Music Mall or something like that, right? Which was the music store at the time.
Yep.
They were closed because they closed at 6 on Fridays. The gig was on a Friday. So here he is. He has like 3/4 of a stick and his other stick. And we're like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? So we get to the gig. We're going to sound check. Chuck looks over at Blue Oyster Cult's kit because they had just sound checked. Goes quietly, grabs a set of sticks. Quietly. Right? We play the gig, and mind you, we were playing like a mix of rock, funk, and soul, like I still play right now. And we were worried that the audience was not going to like it because it's Blue Oyster Cult, it's Godzilla, it's Don't Fear the Reaper. We're like, they're all dressed in leather. We're like, they're not going to like us. You know, they're like biker gangs and stuff. Like, third song, they were like, yeah, like, you're like Hendrix. It was really a lot of fun. So we play the gig, we play it well. We're all feeling really good. Chuck puts the sticks back after he borrowed them. Bless his heart. I'm like, why didn't you keep them? It's like if you have a story to tell, but the story's even funnier because he actually put them back. I'm like, how polite was that, right? We didn't get paid. They promised we were going to get paid. We didn't get paid.
When was that?
This was 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
20 years ago next month, actually.
Man, it's always a story. It's funny you brought up bikers because I was with bikers at my event and it was a shit show.
It was a great gig. The Blue Oyster Cult guys were nice, and they never knew that he took their
get
stick.
I would have asked for an autograph stick.
Right?
That's great.
But yeah, we laughed about that.
That is amazing.
That was fun.
Jamie, we're not cutting this short. We're running long.
I'll come back.
We got to do a part 2, without a doubt. I want to get you on the stage, but as I get you on the stage, I always ask this question. Got to do it. Put together your all-star band. Now you're in this band, and you're putting
That's
together.
That's got to be the hardest for him.
No, it is.
No, that's easy.
Everybody.
That's easy.
You've got it. You've got it.
Easy.
Yes,
He's got
I
it.
love this.
So who's in your band?
It's my superstar.
Starting whatever instrument you're playing, and then put everybody else in there. Who you got? Go.
My all-star band?
Your all-star band.
Rachel Tanucci on vocals.
Nice.
Mark Banzik on drums.
Nice.
Nate Fountain on bass, and me.
Yes.
Boom.
That's why I call it the Dream Factory.
There you go.
I was just going to say, that's the answer.
That's what's up.
So you're like my superstar guest because he's been nailing all the things that we always say should be the right answer.
Yes.
You're amazing. I'm going to keep you forever.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jamie Strchild.
Amazing.